Hi, Esther, and welcome back to our chit chats. Um,
Yeah.
what I really specifically would like to speak to you about on this little chat is about coming, because the way that I even got into this, the way I even had interest in this whole field of sexuality was through Karezza. And I had read, there's a book, Cupid's Poisoned Arrow, and I had read that, and it did resonate as true, and it still does resonate as true, but I could not put the principles in action at the time that I had read the book because I was with a man who wanted to come. And I think after my whole journey with you and working with you and doing work with you is I didn't feel limited in the same way that I did before, in that I learned how I can have union with a man just through my own body and tuning the frequency of my body. And
Okay.
so I want to go deeper into this um, conundrum about, because it's really common, I think. I've met a lot of women where, oh, the man wants to come, and they're too afraid to even approach their own bodies or enter their own bodies because it's like, well, if the man wants to come, it's just hopeless. And so I'm really
Yeah.
frustrated with that narrative, and I'm ready for a new way to look. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's say that Cupid's Poison Arrow was written by Marnia Robinson, because I really believe in us crediting work from people, partly because insights such as that are lived experiences by the when people say a body of work, it's literally a body of work. And I think that that's really important to notice. I know that everything that I have gleaned has come specifically out of my own body and lived experience.
Yeah,
It
and
was quite a long introduction, what you said. Um, so I'm just wanting, is there something specific you want to ask me about that? Um,
yeah. Um, this narrative that um well, there's a few narratives in there. It's that if you come, there's a neurological hormonal crash and you have a cycle of a few weeks. There's a whole biological take on coming. And then there's the take that you can only practice Karezza if there's two partners who aren't coming. So what I want to ask you is, if you're not in
uh,
that situation, if you're in a situation with a man who wants to come,
mhm.
is it,
Which I was at one point,
yeah, me
which I
too.
really, really, really was. Um,
How do you face
but I
that?
mean, I was developing still point lovemaking. Let's say still point lovemaking was being developed through me with the exact culture of a man wanting to come. Um, what that actually means, though, Rachana, and I think a lot of people don't cover this, means that there was a contrast in me between an old part of me that very much wanted still the excitement of, like, so joining with a man in order to chase an orgasm, in order to reach a goal, in order to fulfill a sense of completing something, which is how I see, which is how I see orgasm. That was still in me. And whether people want to face it or not, that's what they're gonna draw to them when that's within us. So of course you can still practice it because you've got the other part of you calling and birthing something new. Um, how do you do that? Well, you meet both parts and you, you find a way to continue to soften to the part that is the most judged in the circumstance, which I would presume is the coming one.
Yeah.
You see, the person that's coming is judging the one that doesn't want to come inside of themselves, and the one that's not coming or prefers the not coming is judging the one that's coming inside of themselves. So you can see, what would that take? What would that take then to bring that into a softer, more compassionate experience with your beloved? What's that going to take? I'm seriously, like, it's a serious question I'm asking you.
Yeah, and for me, and this was really what I learned from you, it was looking at the part of me that wants to come, because that's him. And that's taken me years to do. And I also would just want to say quickly that I love this man who wants to come. Like, I deeply love him. And so, if you really love someone who wants to come, the only thing you can do is look at the part of yourself that wants to come. And I've
Yeah,
had to keep doing that over and over again. And I'm in the trenches
yeah.
still doing that.
And of course, you're going to love them. They're bringing to you yourself the part that you've tried to exile and cut off and um, pretend isn't there and dominate over and become superior to. And on a deeply, like, spiritual level, you know the treatment that you're giving that part. So, so you're actually in awe that this part keeps coming back to you. This is what most people don't talk about. Of course, you're going to still love that part, and it's going to keep returning, whether it's this man or another man. It's going to, especially if you love them for continuing to show you where you don't love yourself. That's going to keep coming. And is it an easy path? No. Is it the truest path? Yes, because you are meeting your love of that part. It's only conditioning that's told you that you don't love it. It's only conditioning that's told you, oh, if I rise above it, if I transcend it, if I pretend it's not there, avoid it, if I detach from it, and I don't mean from a clean place, yeah, then I'll be free of it.
Yeah. And I think it's really rare, this work, because I went to a lot of different places because it was really difficult for me. And what you get told in the world from therapists or other intimacy mentors, I had seen an intimacy mentor or a sex coach. We had seen one together, and she had just said, well, you just want different things. So maybe you just need to split up. And that's what people are told about various. It doesn't have to be coming. It could be about, well, I want a child and I don't want one, or it could be
Mm.
anything, which there will be always something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because we live in a world of duality, which is that's what this means. Living in a world of duality just means that we want something at the same time as not wanting it. And I really don't know why that's hard to fathom. I don't know why it's hard to fathom that we want something when we don't want it, at the same time. And I guess the thing is, a lot of people have, you're going to meet intimacy mentors at the place of your belief system. So I'm very much about belief systems. So if you're going to work with me, it's going to be belief systems as well that we're going to be looking at. And if you believe that you want different things, then you're going to meet an intimacy mentor that tells you want different things. You meet someone like me when you've gone, okay, this obviously isn't working. Maybe you're starting to see a glimmer of love for the part that isn't acting in accordance with your usual ideas of yourself. It's when you start to admit, my God, I love this part. I love this part. If even if, look, a lot of people get very scared with loving parts, and it doesn't mean you have to externally work with, you know, abusive parts. You don't have to externally work with them. You do have to work with the ideas you have about them. But if there's love and you're not being, um, that it's a situation that you um, can you help me with the word? That you can be with, that you can operate within
Mm.
its physical reality, then yeah, approaching it from a place of, okay, I love this part on some level. It doesn't mean I have to completely let go of the other part, but I love this part on some level. Now, why do I love this part on some level?
Yeah. And it's interesting because I also wanted to mention that you know that a little bit of my background, I spent some time in the Gnostic world where it's all about avoiding orgasm. And the other word that is really loved is sacrifice. And I really connect with the word sacrifice, but I think it's so misunderstood in these circles. And I didn't understand it until I worked with you, that sacrifice is really what you're saying about giving up our story about that part to really understand the truth of that part of us.
Yeah.
And that is the greatest sacrifice. And that to me is the true love between two people. And I do believe love is sacrifice. Like I've experienced that I've been with a man who I've been really angry at about not coming. And I do believe we've loved each other greater and greater because of sacrificing our ideas about what our partner should look like and seeing the reality of what this part of ourself that's reflected through the other is telling us. And so I'm really grateful to you for showing me how to do that. And it's very special because
Mm.
I think the world really teaches compromise or sacrifices, and people think sacrifice means, oh, I'm gonna capitulate to the other or I'm gonna dominate them. It's either or. And there is a tertiary option.
Yeah. Because what's happening when there's a conflict is that both this are elevating their own self-interest. So I really noticed that when you're self-focused, so you have an agenda and you feel that that's above another part's um, like peace that they bring to you, then that is what creates um, the conflict. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hmm. For the Because what's happened is in the life of the two people, maintaining a very strong identification with that one aspect is what has protected them. And usually you'll find that they will um like magnetized to each other because each of them were grown, as in developed, as in brought up, needing to reinforce that part within themselves in order to um, stay safe. And then you'll get the two, and so that there's more of an integrated experience of the circumstance, now you'll be ready to meet the opposite of that and what had been pushed into the underground in order to keep that safe identity.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's very rare to see how much of a gift the other person is giving you. And just bringing it back to Karezza, because I am deeply grateful to Cupid's poison arrow for even introducing me to that whole world. But
Hmm.
I think what I do also feel, what I've realized now based on my experience, is that the idea that you will not love each other as much because one or the other person has come, that is still an idea. And that idea, believing that idea at certain moments has caused me immense suffering. And so I know that it's not, it's just a mode of perception and it's not the ultimate reality. And that's something else I wanted to talk to you about is the consequences of coming or what we believe about coming.
Yeah. So you're saying that because it's coming from a science, because I think Koretz is coming from a scientific point of view. Actually, it's not. I don't think the one, and correct me, you might know more about this than me, but wasn't it done by Alice B. I
Stockholm.
might
I think she
stop.
was a gynecologist. So I think her book was very, it was more spiritual and mystical. So that originally was a bit, it was all about the
Right.
creative sexual energy. And then I think the science of it was added through Cupid's poison arrow.
Okay. So, but wasn't also there another man who had really loved his wife? I've forgotten his name, but someone actually mentioned to me, someone came to me who's a very dear connection with me now and mentioned that my writing was very similar to him. Is his
Oh,
name,
J.
did it
William.
start with a John?
Yeah,
No, with
John,
a
I think J. William Lloyd.
J. William Lloyd, and he came to me. So I knew nothing about Karezza, I don't think at that time. And he came and he said, did you know that your writing reminds me of J. William Lloyd? So
And
I
that was
think with
my
people,
favorite book, by the way, just saying it's that was my favorite
oh,
book. And your writing is, I found his writing so beautiful and so divine and celestial is the word that I'd use. And so your writing does have echoes of that too, that mysticism
wow.
and celestial quality of his. Yeah.
Yeah, I was deeply touched at that time. I was so touched when he said that to me, but I needed to go and check the book because I don't know that I knew it, or I think I had touched upon it a long time ago and never really like went deep into it. So um so I'm understanding that maybe Cupid's poison arrow brought in a more modern and was it anthropological kind of perspective or biological and scientific, which is that when we mate and we orgasm, our seed has been planted and we no longer wish to continue with that particular physical uh, person or that,
Yeah, yeah. The
is that right?
Coolidge,
Yeah,
the Coolidge effect,
the Coolidge effect. Yeah.
I
All
believe.
right. Yeah, so obviously that does not take into consideration. Okay, part of my work is to reveal to anyone, whatever circumstance you're in, you are you are incredibly intelligently creative and you are living this circumstance in order to know your divine godlike ability to garner the highest wisdom possible in in every single situation that you are in. Now, if you take the Coolidge effect, that gives you one perspective of it, but it doesn't give you the perspective of why would I create this as an highly intelligent, emotional, spiritual being. It only covers, because even if you have a Coolidge effect, then why do you have the Coolidge effect? Why did you create knowing about the Coolidge effect?
Mm.
Oh, you know, here's another aspect of myself that I'm meeting. And maybe I want to avoid what I'm experiencing with this partner. So I've found a reason to see myself as superior, but that totally discounts again the duality between the two parts that are endeavoring to integrate and become whole in what they're experiencing.
Mm. Yeah. It's only one way. It's a really powerful way of looking, or interesting way of looking, the scientific way presented in Cupid's poison arrow, but there are other ways to understand and see it that are more encompassing in nature of our experience, is what you're saying.
If you love the person and you are now thinking, oh, well, we've got no hope because we've just planted seeds, and but you're still loving them and you still want to be with them, well, now you've got to look at, well, what parts of me are in competition with each other? Not with that person. What parts of me are in competition with each other that I can look at more clearly and resolve within myself? Because it all happens within the self. And once it's happening in the self, you will not attract the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that that's an ideal place, because we're constantly uncovering deeper and deeper layers of unresolution, let's say, of rupture. So when you might be able to reconcile two parts, but then there'll be something else underneath that. And we never know. For as long as we live, we never know what's going to present itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also touch on just what specifically it was about your work that helped me work with um, my partner was really getting to know your system and being able to ride the waves of energy that are showing up in it, and um, tuning it like an instrument, really tuning it to the frequency so that when I'm with the man, even if he wants to come, I can take that energy into my system that he's presenting me, and I can transmute it in a way. I can stay with the really intense sensations, or I can work with it emotionally and mentally too. I can work with the stories that are coming up. And on an energetic level, I can work with the frequency that he's bringing me. So it's really comprehensive. And I think women are not given
Wow.
this amount of this capacity to work with what the man is bringing them. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I've not heard it fed back to me like that before. So that's really special, the comprehensiveness of it. And I'd say because, I'm quite a detailed spiritual being, I look at every single nuance and degree and detail of what needs to be met within a circumstance. So, yeah, hearing you say that, that's incredible. And I think the more, oh, also I'm a woman. I think I don't mean to be disrespectful to the men at all, but I'm a woman who's lived, who's who's had to meet that herself. And I honestly don't think men understand the degree to which we can work with energy to even support. Look, I've even learned how to I'm calling it modulate now. I'm realizing women can modulate a man's sexual heat in a really gentle, like supportive, loving way.
Mm.
And I mean, I think that that's, I mean, what a superpower we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are just their modulators of that. We're there to help them. I honestly think that when they do it alone, when they've been told that they're independent sexual beings who get to choose when they come and who get to choose when they masturbate and all, they really miss out on the feminine complement that we are in their own systems, first and foremost, and then how the woman's actual physical, I think you told me some substrata bodies, which I can't, physical breath. I can't
Vital,
remember the
yeah,
other one.
physical,
Yeah.
vital,
What was it?
emotional, etheric.
Yeah. No,
Because
you said some to me that were even your own, and I liked them better, to be honest. You kind of made up your own.
yeah, yeah. I said
Yeah.
the earth body, like I said, the very heavy, dense, stony, rocky body, and then I said the breath body. And then I
Yeah.
went to the electrical.
Electrical.
Yeah, electrical.
Right.
Yeah.
I like them better.
Yeah. Because that's my own experience speaking. Yeah. So,
Right. I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand the book one the way that I could yours. And so, like, I think that there are places where a woman's energy can travel that men just simply are not given access to, just because of the physiological makeup of our bodies. And that includes being able to, like, very much in the yoni itself, if a woman decides to, how do I say it? Modulate is the word, but let's say subdue any heat that they're feeling. I guarantee you the man's own sexual excitement will, should I say, calm down, will
well,
temper.
yeah, it transforms into something more pleasant is the word that's coming to my mind. Just a deeper state of pleasure
Yeah,
or yeah, connection.
yeah. Something with a C was coming to me. It's just such a, yeah. They just become, yeah. It's just so much more because you see what you want when you're making love, what's ultimate, I'm saying, is to include the spiritual as well as the physical. So you need to be able to feel the sensual, energetic frequency within the system. So that'd be the electrical, that'd be the breath, that'd be the physical at the same time as any sort of escalation of yeah, intensity.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, and conventional sex comes with like kind of a shutting off of the different layers. Because then you can have the
Yes,
physical and then you're shutting down the electric in a way.
yes.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, well, you become two bodies doing actions. That's what you become. You're two bodies doing actions, and there's nothing holding that.
Yeah.
You're empty. There's an emptiness there. Whereas when you're imbued with soul and spirit while you do those actions, there's substance.
Yeah. And each person becomes like a wellspring. I really feel that energy of being like a spring or like a deep well. That's just,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Mm. But you're connected to something greater than the self. And again, you see, when we're talking about self-interest, that's the layer of not being seduced by self-interest in that circumstance.
Mm. That's the sacrifice you're saying.
There you go. I wonder if there's another word other than sacrifice, because I'm not sure if I mean, the English language is so limited. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you because you don't feel like you resonate deeply with that word. Is that so?
No, I think when you're saying it, because it's got that martyrdom, and why would you feel like a martyr? It's the greatest, it's the greatest thing you could give yourself or anyone else
Yeah,
to
yeah.
submit. I guess it's that submission to God. I'll always say this. I love the word submission.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like the word submission. I think in Hindi there is a we use the word sacrifice a lot. It's a very Sufi kind of
Mm, yes, yes,
thing.
Sufi.
And I was always
Yes,
drawn to that, so I have a
yes.
proclivity towards it.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I love that word.
I
I like
understand,
proclivity.
like, if you're coming from a more like a Christian background or something,
Yes,
it has that martyrdom
yes,
thing, but that's
yes,
not, yeah, that could be a
yes.
whole other chit chat.
Yes, and also I don't know how connected I am this, to Sufism either. In terms of, yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I sort of feel like maybe most of the religions have been a little bit affected by, you know, Judeo-Christian. Is that what like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, but I love the word proclivity. I did notice that.
yeah, yeah.
You go, oh, I want to use that word a bit more.
And when I say sacrifice, I sort of mean that very sense of being split open to God's love.
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. It's just simply not language to express the layers of experience available to a human and spiritual vessel that can know itself close to God.
Yeah, yeah.